You don't need another strategy. Here's what you actually need to figure out why you can't implement the things that you already know. I'm Dr. Brooklyn Storme, former psychologist, now business coach, and I help women just like us to build profitable private practices, usually in under 12 months. Being neurodivergent means I see the patterns that other coaches miss, but it also means I'm a truth teller, so I'm not interested in giving you any business advice that sounds good or might be trending, but doesn't actually work for us. Welcome to the Practice Momentum podcast, where we're going to get your private practice sorted out. Thanks so much for being here, and let's get on with the next episode. Welcome to another episode of the Private Practice podcast. Now, just before I get started, you know who, the one that his name starts with the letter B and it ends in Uddy. He's just starting to wake up, which means when I start talking on the podcast, he likes to start to play around and things like that. So if you hear background noise, let's just understand that's all it is. It's little buddy in the background. Okay, so tech stacks. I thought it was a useful topic to discuss today because it's the start of the year. It's only the 3rd of January and we've got people that are getting ready to, here we go. He's just jumped off the couch. We're going to be seeing people starting their private practice, but also there's people that have been in it for a little while. Now, if there's one thing that I know after helping so many women with their businesses, it's that we leak a lot of money and we don't even realize, and we don't realize for a few reasons. One of the first reasons is because many of us don't business plan. And as a result, it means that we end up buying software on the fly. And it's kind of like, oh, I didn't realize I needed this. And then we're quickly buying the thing, right? And what can happen is over time, you've ended up buying all of these things and then you're just paying them, right? You're just paying for them and you're using them, but you never really stop and evaluate what have you actually got. It's like cleaning out the pantry. It's like cleaning out the pantry. You find all this stuff, or cleaning out your wardrobe, right? Maybe you have been buying like shirts, or if you're me, black t-shirts. And then anyway, you go and you do a declutter and you find all these black t-shirts and shirts and hey presto, you're good to go. It's kind of the same here. We want to give your tech stack a little bit of a Marie Kondo in a way and make sure that the things are absolutely sparking joy, but not perhaps in the way of lighting you up, but perhaps in the way of making you feel a little bit more in control and saving you money from going out. So what we're going to talk about today is you're going to hear about what I use in my practice, and hopefully some of it's going to make sense to you. I have made you a free download, so that's in the show notes. You can go and grab that straight away. You can get that now, or you can grab it when we finish. I've also shared it in some of my communities online on Facebook, so you'll be able to go and grab it there if you forget as well. And that's got like clickable links. So I'm going to just kind of talk you through everything. My goal today is, as I said, by simplifying and decluttering your tech stack, it might not necessarily generate revenue, but it will certainly for many of you, stop a lot of the money leaking. And that's really good. And the other thing too is, depending on how you use it and your business model and what you're working on at the moment, it absolutely can make you money. And I'll talk you through that as well. So buckle up. Here we go. If you're driving, speaking of buckling up, don't worry. These show notes, like what happens is I publish these and they automatically get shared to YouTube. I've got to wait a couple of hours for that to all do its thing and for them to go live. But then I grab the transcript and then I get show notes. And so that's why show notes can sometimes come a little bit later. But they will be there. Anyway, that's not why I was telling you that. I've just lost my train of thought, guys. Okay, so I've kind of put it into categories for you. So I've got a few categories. I've got the category of marketing and client attraction. Then I've got a category for everyday work tasks, one for money, one for productivity, and just one for other. Okay. So yeah. Now first off, like, why did I even do this? I did this years ago. So if you've been in my world for a little while, you'll know the story. But for those of you who hadn't, yeah, it was just years ago. And I was just there and I was checking my money. And, I was in a position where I really did need to check the money and possibly tighten my belt. And what ended up happening was I thought, okay, then I better go and have a look at like what I'm paying for. And yeah, I got quite a surprise. It was when I started working with a software company, which you'll hear about in the moment. But the changes that I made there around, in addition to some of my other changes at the time, resulted in a grand total of $15,000. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? And I've actually got better stuff and my life's easier. So anyway, when I went through all of that, I did record a podcast episode and I made a freebie because people were saying, well, what's, can I have the copy of the tech stack that you've got now? And now it's like one of my most downloaded freebies. So I thought, hey, let's give it a bit of a freshen up and share it again with you. Okay, so the first thing, client attraction marketing. All right, so I've got a few things in here and I will also tell you like what's essential, what's not, depending on what your focus on for the business is at the moment. So let me just also bring up the actual freebie because that would help, right? I've got to subscribe to it again, I think. No, I can bring it up. Okay. If you can hear clicking around, it's just me on my keyboard bringing it up because I want to make sure I'm giving you the correct information. All right. Okay. So I said I was going to start with the client attraction marketing. So let's start there. First thing, Canva. Now, I know that there's some fear around spending money that you don't have. But honestly, I think when it comes to spending money in your business, if you know what the return on that investment is, called ROI, just means how much you're going to get back, I think it really does help you make a good business decision. And I think most people who use Canva in their private practices absolutely make their money back. I know I do. So it's $20 a month. If you pay annually, it's $160. Right? That's for pro. And that means that you get to use all of the things. Now, I know that there are some people who think, oh, $20, I can't afford it. It's so much money. I'm just going to use the free version. Now, you can absolutely do that. And it still functions, everything, but you don't get to use a lot of the tools that would just make your life so much easier. Like you get limited access to photos, for example, and those photos perhaps not great in terms of our profession, and you want to kind of project a certain image and look a certain way. Also with some of the editing tools, so you can't access those if you've got a free account. For example, if you're wanting to take a nice photo of yourself for your website, but maybe your teenage son is photo bombing, well, but you actually look really, really good in this photo. If you've got a free account, you won't be able to use the photo. But if you've got a paid account, with just one click, you can remove the photo bombing person, and the rest of the image will fill up with whatever else was in the background, right? Like maybe it was shrubbery or something if you're in the garden, and some sky and stuff like that. It'll just automatically fill it up. And then you can put that on your website, right? Doesn't that make your life so much easier? I agree. It really, really does. Now, are you going to make $20 a month back? Here's what I want you to know. I say yes, but I'm sure there are going to be some people that say, oh, that's not correct. Like I've made so many things in Canva and none of them sell. They just sit on my website. Maybe they do. But perhaps you've used it in other ways as well. Like if you've got the $20 version that I'm talking about now, you can schedule all your social media content, right? Isn't that going to save you $20? You can, of course, sell the things that you make. Makes you money. Everything I make is made in Canva or a Google Doc, right? Or a Google Sheet or something like that. And I make money every single day. So it's like I should sit down and do the maths, but I make bucket loads of money from products that I've created in Canva. Now, you can make money using Canva by, I don't know, making some slides for a webinar, and then you sell seats at your webinar. You could make your journals. You can make affirmation cards. You can do all of these kinds of things. Absolutely. Like, it's limitless what you can do. Is it essential? No. Is it essential if you want to make money? I would say yes. I mean, yeah, you can make some really lovely handouts for your clients, and you could sell those. You could make a really lovely workbook for your client. You could sell it. You could make a really lovely onboarding or offboarding kit for clients. And does it make you cash? Maybe no, but it can, in that you can create repeat business and things like that. Do you know what I mean? So I think $20 a month, it's a steal. And I just think we are so, so lucky to have it. I also use it to create and sell GPTs. And I use it to create and sell a whole bunch of stuff on Etsy. So I think not essential if you're really bootstrapping, but I think if you're serious about making money, get it. $20 tax deduction. All of these things are tax deductions, by the way. Okay, moving on. The next thing I have is Flowdesk. Now, it's one email system. There are many that you can choose from. I use Flowdesk because I'm not fantastic with tech. I don't like going on big learning curves, and I like things that just feel easy, and Flowdesk does. In fact, inside Practice Momentum, all the women there have access to all of my stuff because I give them, in Flowdesk you can make template links, and so I just give them, I'm like, oh yeah, here's the thing that you need to do to sell this workshop or to sell the program. You're going to need a landing page, you're going to need a email sequence, and I just go click, 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 and I give them the link, and then they've got a template and they can just take and adapt mine. So it's just like super easy. They've got really lovely templates. Not only that, you can make money inside Flowdesk because they have really simple checkouts. So they just connect to your Stripe or your PayPal account and you can sell stuff. So I think you should all be doing email marketing. I know many of you aren't, but the reason that email marketing is a good thing to do is because it generates money. It looks after your pipeline. A pipeline meaning if somebody's downloaded a free thing, they then get an email from you delivering the free thing. It says, hey, here's the free thing. And then maybe for a couple of days after that, they're going to get, other emails from you. Maybe the next one is like just double checking that you got it. Great. Hey, if you did and you've used it, how'd you go? And then you might explain it in a little bit more detail. And then the follow-up one to that might be something around why you created it. And maybe some feedback that other people have had. Do you know what I mean? And each one kind of lets them get to know you, like you, trust you a little bit more. And, an average open rate for an email is in our industry, the benchmark is around 20%. Now, there are people that hover a little bit above that, which is awesome. But I saw a big increase with my open rates when I went to Flowdesk. And currently my open rate is 60%, which is just like almost unheard of. I'm very, very lucky. I mean, it wasn't just Flowdesk. Obviously you've got to learn what to do and how to do it. And yeah, it's a whole thing. But I would say definitely I make my money back on that. The other thing is it is flat fee. So with Flowdesk, for example, you can have up to, well, it's limitless, but I think they put on the website something like 255,000. I mean, I'm not sure many of us are going to have that many subscribers. My current subscriber rate, I delete people out of my email audience every probably 6 months. I just go into Flowdesk and I just say, look, anyone who hasn't opened anything in the last 90 days or the last 180 days, let's just say sayonara, goodbye, you're welcome back anytime, but I'm not going to keep sending you stuff if you're obviously not interested. Like, let's just clear that energy for both our sakes. And I just, poof, gone. And so this is also what keeps my open rate really high. And it means that I've got a list of people who are very engaged. And so, yeah, it works for me. Flowdesk, lifesaver. With other platforms like MailerLite, for example, that's another popular one. They charge, Flowdesk for the pro email is 42 Australian dollars a month, right? So for a year, 462. Now, careful. I know some of you are going, oh, yikes, I can't afford that. Well, you don't have to pay the annual. You can just do $40 a month, right? 42 a month. But if one client booked in and you charge $150 for a client, and on average you see those clients 10 times, well, then that email platform, right, just made you $1,500 and it cost you $42 that month. I mean, see what I mean? You've got to think about the return on investment. This is what I'm saying. You've got to think, how much am I going to get back if I spend this money? And as I said, it's more than just having the platform, but you've got to know what you're doing as well. But anyway, you see what I'm saying. And then with the MailerLite is a little bit cheaper. It's about $100 cheaper actually, but they're capped at just 500. Now you might be thinking, 500, that's not many people, but it doesn't take you long. When you start marketing and you're putting your freebies out there and it doesn't take long to get that audience there at 500, especially when you're also adding in your existing clients, your past clients, all of that. It doesn't take long to hit that 500, and then you're going to be paying more. Plus, they don't do some of the stuff that Flowdesk does. So hard to make money with MailerLite within the actual software itself. Not so hard with Flowdesk. Do I make $462 a year back as a result of using Flowdesk? Yes, I do. Okay, you're going to get links to all of these as well, by the way. What else comes under the client attraction and marketing? Oh, the podcast, of course. So I use Podbean and I pay a lot of money because it's a big podcast, right? I was doing some research a little while ago, meaning last week. And yeah, it turned out that, and I mean, I haven't been able to verify confidently for me, but from what I can see, it looks like my private practice is the top ranking one in business. So at the moment, my podcast ranks 31 on Apple in the category for business. Now, I think that that's friggin' amazing because, I mean, I just think it is, right? And I'm so happy and proud and all of the things. But it's a big category and it's not just a private practice category. But the private practice podcast that's next after mine is number 42. And then there's other private practice podcasts that don't even rank. They're there, people are podcasting, but they don't rank. So I know my podcast has been a really beautiful way for me to connect with my audience and for them to connect with me too. And in fact, if you're listening, it's possible that maybe you and I have worked together because of this connection that we have here. So do I make my money back? Yes. Yes. I mean, currently, Practice Momentum, the fee went up on the 1st of January. It's a now $12,000 program. And I've just had 2 people sign up. Now, they both found me through the podcast. So they didn't find me on my website. They didn't find me on Facebook. They didn't open an email and fall in love. It was they've been listening to the podcast for a while. And then they were like, right, 2026, it's my year. I'm doing it. So this podcast might have cost me. So for me, it cost me, oh gosh, don't cringe, but it was like $550 a year. But it generates revenue for my business, return on income, right? And they're not going to be the only 2 people that join Practice Momentum this year from the podcast. Okay, so you see what I'm saying? When you think about spending money, always think about what am I going to get back? And it's, as I said, like conditions apply, obviously. It's not that Podbean is going to make you thousands of dollars. You've got to do the work, right? It's like coaching. Like I've got clients who doubled their income, tripled their income, left full-time jobs, moved to Bali, making good money, all of the things. But I've also got people that, for whatever reason, the ones that do the work, that ask questions, that submit things, that want my help, that, they're active, like they're doing the stuff, they're the ones that get better results than the ones who don't, or the ones who do it less frequently. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's never really about the platform or the thing. There's also like your part in it too. But anyway, yes, I make money back on Podbean. Now, you're not going to pay anywhere near that. It can be like, if you're just starting out, blah, 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 all the things, $18 a month. Now, can you pay annually? Yes, you can. And that'll be $262 annually. I would just say start by the month, and here's why. Not many people, lots of people start a podcast, but not many people finish. In fact, I was looking at this just the other day when I was looking at all the other stuff. Let me just I'm just checking something for you so I can verify it before I share it. See, average number of episodes published on a podcast. So most podcasts, I'm reading this, right? This isn't me. I'm reading this. I've just done a Google search. Most podcasts publish very few episodes. In fact, around 90% don't get past episode 3. Therefore, good to know. That's what I'm saying. Don't go and buy an annual membership for any podcasting platform if you're just starting, because chances are you're not going to get past 3 episodes. I'm at 543. Yes. There's also it's just going on here as well. It says, 90% of podcasts on average have fewer than 3 episodes. Only 8% of podcasts make it past 10. So there you go. I mean, if you do 11 podcasts, you're in the top 8%, right? You see? The other way I think that you can get good return on the investment for podcasting software is because it's long form content. So you've heard me talk about this before, but with social media, I do not understand why so many women, counsellor psychologists and social workers want to be posting on Instagram. I don't get it. It's got one of the lowest conversion rates next to my other bugbear of people not having a booking button on their website and forcing clients to do the email merry-go-round of sending in a contact form. I mean, I don't get that. Why are you making things hard for yourself and your clients? I don't get that. But anyway, I really don't understand the whole Instagram thing with therapists. There was some research that was actually put out by Meta about 3 months ago, I think it was, that said, the average user engagement interaction on Instagram is 0.07 of a second. Now, when you think about how long you take putting an image together in Canva, or, typing up your caption, researching your hashtags, making sure you're using trending music, maybe even recording reels and doing all of that. It's a friggin' lot of effort. And I know, because you tell me, many of you aren't getting any work from it. I just don't get it. Your time is better spent on a couple of places, depending on where your audience is. It's probably going to be Facebook, because Facebook is where people like to connect. Right? It's I don't know, what was the last one I joined? I joined something just recently. it was a podcasting thing because I was doing all my podcast research during the week. Yeah, so I went onto Facebook and I was like podcasting communities, and I found this podcasting community, and it has like, I don't know if it's 106k members or 116k members, and I thought, awesome, like I can't wait to get into that group. I got into that group and engagement's like 2, 3. I mean, you don't have to worry about engagement, but you know what I'm saying. But anyway, this is where people like to go and connect, and you probably have had that experience too with something. Maybe you were late diagnosed with ADHD. Maybe you started a private practice and you joined my community, right? You join communities to get to know people and make connections, build relationships, get some information, stay up to date with things sometimes, all that. So that's a much better place to find clients and be marketing than Instagram. But there's 2 other places that are even better for getting clients for therapists, I believe, and I'll tell you why. It's long form content. Now that's either going to be a video or a podcast. So I don't like doing videos. I couldn't be bothered. I don't have the time or the energy or the interest, to tell you the truth. But with Podbean, they automatically send my episodes, which are entirely audio, over to YouTube, which is fine. They can do that. Like, that's great. They're doing the heavy lifting for me, essentially. I'm very thankful to have that service. But the reason that long form works better is because you've got that person's attention. I mean, even in Facebook, people will go into a group, and you probably have too, and you're in it for like 2 or 3 minutes, do a quick scroll, get out, maybe look at a few friends' posts, quick scroll, maybe scroll a bit more, get out. Like, you're not really, it's nothing kind of in depth in terms of building rapport, trust, and relationship, which is, as you know, my whole philosophy for us is marketing isn't icky unless you're trying to think that you've got to market in a way that feels icky. But you being you is the marketing. Your website should feel like a very beautiful, wholehearted, kind, thoughtful, compassionate extension of a session with you. When I come to your website, I want to feel understood. I want to feel like I'm in good hands. I want to feel like there's a connection there, which is why freaking ChatGPT, if I see that on another website for a therapist, I think I'm going to it's so frustrating, because I can see that you have like this gift over here of wanting to help, and you've got your own way, you've got your own bit of magic that's unique to you. Maybe it's your personality, maybe you've created a new way of working with people, maybe you've got your own perspective on things, right? Maybe you've got lived experience, like whatever it is, you've got your little bit of magic over here, and then for some reason you just like put it into ChatGPT, and then boom, out comes watered down, vague messaging with AI language patterns in it all over the place. The latest one is, the latest AI language pattern is ChatGPT will say, it's not this, it's that, and variations on it. It's not that you're bad at this, it's that this thing didn't happen yet. Or, do you know what I mean? It's like so frustrating, and M dashes everywhere, and other phrases as well, like chaos to clarity. Like, I think I'd be a millionaire if I had $1 every time I'd seen that. But all the therapists who've used ChatGPT and put it on the website think it's the first time it's ever been. No, it's not. And it's frustrating as anything, because you're missing out, and you're saying to me, review my website because I'm not getting clients. And what's even more frustrating is I'll say, okay, I figured it out. One of the big reasons why you're not is because there's no you in here. This is feeling mechanical, robotic. I can tell it's ChatGPT. Your clients can tell that it's ChatGPT, yet you're saying that you're authentic and you're this and you're that and you want to be genuine and da-da-da-da-da, but it's an AI written, for the most part anyway, website. And I get it. Like, I totally get it, because when I first started using AI, I wasn't even thinking, like I just assumed it knew more. It doesn't know more. It doesn't. And it can only give you output to the quality of your prompt. And if you don't know how to ask it to give you the things, it can only give you things to the level that you're asking. And the trick, the psyop that happens here is there's an algorithm that sits behind ChatGPT, right? And the whole purpose of it is to be affirming, to be agreeable. So it doesn't really matter so much what you put into it. It's always going to like tell you you're on the right track, you're doing great, this sounds awesome, da 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 da, even when it knows better. The only way you can get around that is if you go into the settings in ChatGPT and you go and you tinker around with your personalization and stuff like that. Then you can do it, sure. But it's still not going to be as good as if you know really what you're doing. And that takes time. And if you haven't learned how to use ChatGPT, I want to say like, just if you haven't learned, then you're missing skills. And you're going with some skills, not full skills. And so that's why you're getting like this type of result over here. But you're thinking it's pretty good enough, you think, to put it on the website. You put it out and people are coming over to the website and then clicking off. This can be one of the reasons why. If I have 5 therapist websites up and 4 of them are riddled with AI and interspersed with the occasional paragraph here and there that's been handwritten, but mostly they're AI. And then I can see one that hasn't really used AI. Maybe it's used it in a couple of places, but generally no, like the scales are tipped in the other direction on this website here. I feel it. And it's like, you're my best friend now. You're who I'm going with. You're the one that I want to be working with, because all the others have the same patterns in the language. They've got the same phrases. They've got the same terminology. They've got the same jargon. And you don't know because you're assuming AI knows better or this or that, or you're thinking that you're using AI really well. And, you know, it's hard to know if you're using it well or not when there isn't really a benchmark, right? Which is one of the reasons that we've got Ethically AI over in Practice Momentum. I'll be teaching the women how to actually do this because a lot of them do use it. And I want to help them unlock, you know, it's like thinking about your brain, you know, what did they say? We use like 10%. Yeah. Or was it Albert Einstein used 10%? We only use 3 or 5 or something, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like we only use a little bit. It's the same with AI. We're only using a little bit, but I know a little bit on top of that little bit. And I want to share that with those women there so that they can really have fun with it and actually get good output. But yeah, I don't even know how I got onto this. I was talking about podcasting. I was talking about long form content. Yeah. So a podcast is a fantastic way of long form content because when you're doing an audio, you've got somebody's attention. So my listeners that connect with me and have shared with me how they consume my content on the podcast usually say it's on a commute to or from work, or they've got it on in the background while they're doing meal preps and stuff like that at home. So what it means is that I'm not competing for attention. She's not scrolling, looking at the next thing. Okay. She's driving to work. She's driving home from work, or she's, you know, doing meal prep, or she's decluttering her tech stack. I also know that people like to, you know, they forget where my podcast is and it's on my website. So they will just go to the website and they will just click it there. and it's just another tab that they've got open, but it's going in the background while they're doing some other things in Canva, right? So it means that it becomes a really great way for me to build trust, rapport, and connection with the women that are on the same page as me, understanding people are going to get on the Brooklyn bus, people are going to get off it. Maybe they'll get back on it again in the future. That's all good too. We can all be friends. We can part ways and we can do it in nice ways and be friends and come back down the track. Absolutely. But understanding there's going to be churn, right? That's called churn. For the most part, it's a really, really good way of creating that funnel, pathway, pipeline of future clients, because while you might record an episode that day, the person might not listen that day and then like suddenly apply for, I don't know, your program or your webinar, or, you know, to work with you in a counseling session, or, you know, buy your intensive, you know, or the thing that day. What's going to happen is oftentimes they're going to listen to the next one and the next one. And that's really, really important, because the latest marketing data says that in a 90-day period, which, as you know, if you've been in my world, I say that a lot, don't I? If you've been in my world, because I know a lot of you have been in it for a while, but you will know that I always say business happens in 90-day cycles, right? And it's the same with your marketing being part of the business, 90-day cycles. So in the 90-day cycle, somebody needs to see your content 50 times, 50 times. And they need to spend 7 hours with you. Now, it's much easier for you to get somebody to spend 7 hours with you in long form content, like a podcast, than it is for them to spend 7 hours in total over 3 months, right? So 3.33 hours and minutes a month. How many, given that they don't even look at your stuff for 1 second, how many posts are you going to have to put on friggin' Instagram to achieve that? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, just, it doesn't make any sense. And if you're getting tired and you're not loving doing it, pull the pin on Instagram for a while. You can always go back to it later, or you could just like put a post once a week. You know, you've heard the data now. You can go and verify this data for yourself. But yeah, it's going to be much easier for somebody to spend, hang on, I'm going to do the maths. I've got my little phone calculator thing here. What did I say? 7 hours of 60 minutes, 7 sixes are 42. That's 420 minutes. I'm just going to ask Google because it's too hard for me to do on the calculator. How many seconds are there in 420 minutes? Okay, 25,200. That's potentially, for many of you, how many Instagram posts you would have to put up in 90 days to get the same traction as you would get if you did 7 hours of podcasting over 12 weeks, right? 12 weeks divided by 7 hours. That doesn't work. It says 1.7. But anyway, let's say it is 1.7. That's only like 1.5 hour episode a week. Easier, right? And you see how I do it. Like, I'm just here in my pajamas on a Saturday morning with GarageBand. I'm not on camera. Like, my hair's in a messy bun. I don't have any makeup on. You know, like my study could do with a bit of a tidy up, but nobody knows. Nobody sees it. And this is very, very easy to do. And it produces a much better result because it's spoken. So think about it this way. In marketing, always the things that convert more highly, and there's so much evidence to support what I'm about to share with you here, spoken word always converts more highly than a written one. And the reason why is because when we write stuff, we're processing and we want to make sure it sounds just right, da 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 da. But when we go and read stuff, where most of us, I know there are exceptions, but most of us kind of hear it in our mind as we're reading it, like a narrator, right? We've got our own little Morgan Freeman sitting up there in our minds, usually some version of our own voice, and it's like saying the things. And so spoken word has a much higher conversion rate than when we actually type stuff. And one of the other reasons for that is because also when people can hear you speak, they get to appreciate the intention or the meaning of a pause. Or are you slowing down, or you speeding up, or you going up with your voice like this and it's like, oh, super exciting. Or you're like, ugh, it was so hard and it was so heavy. Like you get to hear all of that, right? It's verbal stuff, but it's kind of non-verbal. It's not actual language, but it's all the bits and pieces around it. It's how fast you speak. It's your tone. It's your energy. It's your excitement. It's your motivation. It's your depletion. It's, all of those things. You can pick up all of that. So that's why it works better. And if I had it my way, and if I really had it my way, I'd be telling all therapists everywhere, like, get off your socials and go on podcasts. Like, it'll get you a result. The problem is it takes time. Everything does. And I think we have a sense that, I put a post up yesterday and, I still don't have a client. It's not working. Or I got my website up 4 weeks ago. I still don't have a client. It's not working. Like, we kind of have this expectation. And because that itch hasn't been scratched, we need to scratch it. And we usually do that by, what else do I need to do? I'm here to say you don't need to do more. You got to do the right things is what you got to do. But yeah, a podcast takes time. But once it gets going, then like anything, so too do the inquiries and then the right clients and then the right bookings and stuff like that. So yeah, that's podcasting. Now you can go and you don't have to pay Podbean. It's just who I use, but you can go and start free on other platforms as well. Now, I was speaking with somebody yesterday about a platform. I'm not going to say the name just in case, but yeah. So maybe do your research and find out a little bit about if this is important to you, right? If it's important to you to do business with people that have a good handle on the environment or investments and where they send their money and who they give it to and stuff like that, might be helpful for you to go and check out some of the more popular places. But if you don't really, that's not your priority, the priority is getting clients, then Spotify might be an option for you because it's actually free. But the thing is, conditions do apply because it's not going to really want to distribute your podcast episodes well. For example, on Podbean, it has its own little platform. It's got its own little app as well. People can listen on the app, they can listen on the website, all that kind of good stuff. But there's lots of distribution. So it goes to Lisbon, Apple Podcasts with iTunes, and, it goes all over the place. It's really, really good. And it's very interesting to see where it goes and which platforms do well in terms of listenership and things like that. But with Spotify, for example, they're competing against other platforms and they don't want to distribute necessarily your episode to another platform if that platform's going to get all the brownie points for somebody listening to your episode over there instead of listening to it over here. Now, is that important? Does it matter? I'm going to say yes, because you might just have people who just aren't Spotify people, for example, or they find it too hard to go and set up accounts and this, that, and the other. Whereas if they're just going to go and listen on iTunes or listen on YouTube or something like that, it can be just a little bit easier because they've probably already got a lot of those things in place. I don't know. I think distribution is incredibly important. So for me, I'm happy to pay whatever I pay. It's a lot more than $18 a month. But as I said, it's because mine's quite big now. Anyway, so yes, you can go and do that. What else was I going to say? Okay, also ManyChat. I use ManyChat Pro. Love it. What does it cost me? Let me just check. It costs me $15 a month. Do I make $15 a month? Absolutely. So what is it? How do you use it? Well, you should always have multiple freebies on the go, right? The reason why is because a freebie is one way that you take people who are brand new to your world perhaps, or maybe they've been in your world before but never actually taken an action, but you give them this thing in exchange for, so it's free of charge financially, but the cost to them is an email address. So you swap the freebie for the email address, and then what happens is they've now taken a step closer to hopefully working with you. Now, not everybody who downloads the freebie is going to work with you. It's going to depend on a lot of things. It's going to depend on if you had a good freebie or if your freebie was a bit sucky. You know, it's like, I don't know, in Practice Momentum, for example, the ladies there, like they make their freebies and I'm like, let's revise it, make it better. It's got to feel so good that people feel like they want to open the email that's on its way to them, right? So if you're just putting something that's like a little bit vague, a little bit wishy-washy, a little bit Instagram, a little bit out in the world, and again with the ChatGPT, like going into ChatGPT and saying, oh yeah, you know, I'm going to make a freebie on grief and loss or something, getting chat to like, I don't know, help you out with it. And then you're just copying and pasting into Canva and you're making it look pretty with your brand and everything. You're sending it off. Again, it's not going to land for people. It's not going to land for people. You've wasted your time. And I don't know why some people would say, do you know what? You're asking me to like work hard over here on this freebie, Brooklyn. What's the point? Because I'm not getting paid for it and it's just going to take me time. I'm just going to thanks for your feedback, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it my way. They're the ones who will say later on, oh, don't worry about doing a freebie. They don't work. But my clients who go, oh, I didn't realize there was all this work that went into a freebie, and they actually do the steps and they do the work, guess what? They get people onto their email list, which is very important because that's now your audience. And that's an audience that belongs to you, right? Facebook could shut down anytime. Do you remember, was it last year or the year before? Instagram was down for like 24 hours. Do you remember that? That was scary for a lot of businesses that rely on Instagram, right? Instagram might decide that they're going to delete your account. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you're going to get cancelled for something, you know. Boom, gone. All your followers gone. You don't have their contact information, can't get them back. All that effort you put into building up that account, gone. So that's why it's very important to have an email list. And it then means that you can really show somebody, you know, your stuff, they're in the right place, give them the experience that you know your stuff and that they're in the right place, showing, not telling, and really helping them. And when you do that, then some of those people will take another action with you, right? And that action might be that they're going to, I don't know, maybe they'll go and download another freebie and go back to the start. Or maybe they will book a discovery call with you and become a client. Or decide, maybe not now, but I'm really thankful that I've got that information because you're my person when the time's right for me. Or maybe they're just going to go and click the booking button that you include in the email because they feel like they trust you a bit now. And so that's why we do that. And so I think it's definitely worthwhile putting the freebies together only if you're going to do something that's actually useful. I was going to say back in the day, but let me just say pre-ChatGPT, right? So what, pre-24 months ago, whatever it is. It was enough for us as women in mental health to mock up a PDF with some generic information in that felt safe for us to share, right? We weren't revealing all of our cards. We were still keeping some of them close to our chest, and put that on our website, and great. But what's happened now is we've gotten, I was going to say savvy and smarter. Some of us have, some of us perhaps not so much with the AI, right? But your clients use it. And some of you have clients that use it a lot. And what it means for you is that you need to pivot how you approach things, because it's not that AI has taken away from your credibility, but it kind of has. Because if somebody goes into ChatGPT now and they want to get that freebie on grief and loss that's all about, something very generic, what is grief and loss? Here are, 3 mindfulness practices for grief and loss, blah, blah, blah. And then you've got your book now button in there. They can go and get that information off chat, right? Or Instagram or Google or wherever. It's like readily available. Whereas before, it had value because you were a professional. You were seen as a professional and you had a little bit of status and all those kinds of things. So what it means is now you have to change the way that you approach your freebie. And so the freebie now has to stand out. And the way that we get it to stand out is by doing the things that chat can't. ChatGPT will never understand what it's like to sit with someone who's grieving. Chat will never understand what it's like to lose a pet or a loved one, a human. It will never know what it's like to sit in silence. It will never know what it's like to sit with somebody who's crying. It will never know what it's like not to be able to get out of bed in the morning, all those kinds of things. But if you're relying on ChatGPT to put your content together, it can't include any of that. It can try, because it's going to go and it's going to look online for other places that have, shared similar stuff, and it's going to mush it all together for you and give you something. But it's not going to land anywhere near as well or be anywhere near as helpful or valuable to somebody as hearing from you. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm raising my eyes and I'm shrugging, my hands up around my shoulders, my head's on the side. I'm just saying. Don't use AI to water down your stuff, especially with a freebie, because the damage, you can't fix it. For somebody to get to the stage of wanting to download your free thing, you had to do a lot of work to get them there. You had to be visible, which meant that you had to be doing activities that were making you visible, like maybe a website. Sure, it's not where most people find you, but it's where 80% of the decisions are made whether or not they're going to work with you. But maybe you're posting somewhere, maybe you had a podcast, maybe you're doing YouTube, maybe you went and ran a workshop, stuff like that. But you put in a lot of effort is what I'm saying. And then of all the people that came into contact with whatever you were doing, a small number of them decided, I'm going to get her free thing. And, this is great, because those people now, they're getting your free thing. They're a step closer. They're potential clients now. Maybe not potential clients, all of them. Maybe some of them will only ever buy your digital products, like your journals, your fillable journals, or your downloadable affirmation cards, whatever you're selling on your website, right? Or your ebook, things like that. But if they get to that point, you've got hope, because now you're like, oh wow, 100 people saw my thing and 5 of them are now downloading the freebie. This is so exciting. That's 5 potential clients. And if all 5 became a client and you see them on average 10 times each, and that freebie is so good that all 5 decide she's the one for me, I'm going to work with her, and they all click book now and they start working with you and they see you for 10 times, your free thing just made you $7,500. Now, you tell me, is it worth your time and effort and energy to do a few revisions of it before you put it out? I think it is. And guess what? The more people that see it, that number goes up. So an optimal conversion rate is going to be around 5%. Now, depending on your niche and where you are and how you work, yes, there's going to be variation. Some of you will get above it, some of you will get below, but on average, it's around 5. Now, if you've got 200 people that see it, now we've got, 10 people. So you've just made $15,000. If you get 300 people seeing it, now we've got 15 people potentially clients. Do you see? It all compounds. So yes, it's hard work to put your freebie together. It's not just slap it together and throw it up on the website. No. And it's not just like, I know too, there are so many people that put so much blood, sweat and tears into their freebie. And then when it's done, they feel so excited about it. They go, put it everywhere. Oh, I'm putting it on my Facebook page. And it's up on my website and sharing it with my friends and, And it's like, oh, feeling so good. But guess what? If you don't have your email sequence set up, what's the point? What's the point? You've just put in all that hard work now and you're not going to take anybody, you're not going to bring them any closer. So what was the point? Probably easier, if you don't want to put in the work, don't do a freebie. You're just wasting your time. And if you're not going to put a freebie up, when I say it's got to be valuable, right? I don't mean that it's going to be worth a lot of money. What I mean is value in the eyes of your client. So for example, today I made a freebie and it's a simple Google Doc. And all it is my tech stack. Exactly what I'm talking to you about now. So just my tech stack, I've got clickable links in there so people can go and find all of the stuff if they want to have a look at it, all of that. Very easy for me to put together, but it has value. Why does it have value? I'll tell you, because I know a lot of my clients don't plan in their business, right? They do it, that business happens, what I would say reactively, kind of like as they become aware they need something, they get the something rather than anticipating they're going to need it, looking at the things, planning for it, budgeting for it, making sure they're getting the one that's going to meet their needs the best, all of that, right? It tends to be more sort of ad hoc buying stuff. And then what ends up happening is we've got a whole lot of things everywhere. And it happened to me too. Like I was the same. You're going to hear about it in a moment. I was the same. And it becomes very, very messy, complicated. We've got links going everywhere that often don't work or clients say that they didn't get and stuff like that. So this is a valuable freebie because it's going to show them how I saved. I've shared with you, it was about 15,000 when I did it. I think I've only put the thing about the 11,000 on my little form for them. But anyway, they're going to look at that and they're going to go, well, I want to save $11,000. How do I do that? Valuable. They're going to say, yeah, I guess I'm on holidays now. It would probably be a good time for me to, take stock, take an inventory of what I'm actually doing and how much it's all costing me and see if I can use any of what she's got down here. And do you know what? Even if she just changed one thing, she's going to save a few $100. Valuable? Valuable, right? And a lot of this stuff is going to save her time as well because she's not going to be like having to remember all logins and passwords and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Valuable? Valuable. How long did it take me to put this together? All up, it probably took me about, I'm going to say an hour and a half because I wanted to make sure that I had like up-to-date information. So I went and checked every website of all of the things. What else? And then, of course, I had to like make an image for the opt-in page and I had to make the opt-in page. I had to go into my audience and make a segment to connect the opt-in page to. I had to get the link to the doc, put the link in my email sequence. I had to make the email sequence, but I do this a lot. So I've got templates that just make it so much easier for me. And yeah, so it was probably an hour and a half. Now, what they're going to get when they download it, they're just going to, it's not even really a download actually, is it? They're just going to be like clicking make a copy, and a Google Doc's going to open up for them with some clickable links. And this is high value. Now, it's not something that I needed to review like an ebook or journal prompts or something like that, right? This was low effort for me. It was just kind of like a bit admin-y, but pretty much low effort, very high value. And what's going to happen is people will download it, and if they're not in my world, right, they're going to be in it now, because they're going to get the little delivery email a couple of minutes later that says, hey, here it is, just in case the screen didn't appear for you, right? Boom. And then tomorrow they'll get another one just talking them through like a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? And it's going to be helpful. I think the problem is that when a lot of therapists do their freebies, they hold back. And I think just based on my own experience and the experience that other women have shared with me, I think they want to keep stuff behind a paywall because they're worried that if they, share helpful information, that then maybe the person will be able to solve their issue without them and they'll miss out. And I'm here to say, no, that's not true. Actually, when you share helpful information, it's been my experience and the experience of my clients who share helpful information, that's when people become clients, because they see you know what you're doing and that you know your stuff. So yeah, that was, and so ManyChat is away. One of my things this year is I'm verbose, I know. Try not to be so verbose, but I feel like this was hopefully useful and helpful for those of you who didn't know any of that. For those of you who did, thank you for listening with a beginner's mind. And sometimes too, you might have heard stuff before, but not have like heard it. You know how you need to kind of be ready, in the mood to receive. But anyway, what I was going to say about ManyChat Pro, it's not AI. It's a piece of software that will deliver your freebie to people who request it on your Facebook business page. So it only works with a Facebook business page. Costs $15 a month. Now, I often will create and share freebies because it's one way that I build my audience and I get new people into my world, right? And so the way that it works is you will put together your freebie. I mean, you can go to my Facebook business page and have a look. I mean, just type my name into Facebook and I'm sure it will come up. It's called the Private Practice Specialist. But you can go there and you can see all my freebies are pinned to the top. I think they're pinned as featured or something, but you'll see what I mean. You make the post and you trigger the ManyChat automation by asking the person to comment with a special word. So I think today it was something like tech or tech stack. So they'll comment that. And what it means is that whenever somebody raises their hand basically and says, yeah, I want a copy of that, Brooklyn, they're going to say tech. And ManyChat will give them the response. So you get to tell ManyChat, I think it's 3. You might be able to do more. I don't know. I just stick with 3. You get to like pre-type a few different responses, something like, oh, amazing. Yes, I'm sending it to you now. Check your messages, that type of thing. It will then say, yep, great, brilliant, sending it to you now. Check your messages. And then it will automatically send that person a message. For me, I think it's important to be ethical as well. And so my little message flow, I think it says something along the lines of, hey, it's me. Before, we do this, I just want to double check that you do want and requested a copy of my tech stack. And there's a little button they can just tap, yes, I did. And then it's like, cool, pop your email in here. And then they pop their email in and then boom, they get a screen pops up with the Google Doc. And they also now in Flowdesk, and they will get also a little email just in case they don't know to stay on the phone or the device. They might click off. A lot of people do. Well, not a lot, but some people do click off, and then they will message me and go, oh, I was trying to download your thing and I didn't get it, So it's a safeguard, but they're in your world now, right? That's what you want. And because it's automated, you don't have to do anything. I mean, do go and monitor and check it though, but it takes a lot of work off your plate. Are you going to make money from ManyChat? I say yes, because it's saving you the time. It increases the downloads, because what happens is when people start to see activity, FOMO happens and they don't want to miss out themselves. And so once a few people have started to comment your magic word and see a response from ManyChat pop up, all of this sort of back and forth, then they're like, oh, I want in on that too. And it builds engagement, right? Which then makes people go, oh, she must have something really good over here. I want to get that. And then they will say the magic word and they get it, and this is very important, because from a marketing perspective, even if you already have the email addresses of the people who are commenting, it's good, because it's reinforcing your credibility, your authority, you know what you're doing. So that's fine. But it's telling Facebook, oh, hey, Brooklyn's got something really important over here. It's getting some interest. Let's show it to some more people who aren't in her world. And this is what I mean. This is how you grow your audience. So anyway, it's a really cool piece of software to use, saves you time, and absolutely can make you money. Again, it's not the platform that's going to make you the money. It's going to depend on if you've got a good freebie or not, right? Other software I use to, for my marketing, client attraction, stuff like that. YouTube, as I said, my podcast is automatically distributed there, so it's not really anything manual for me. Occasionally I'll put stuff up, but not often. And Facebook, I'm on Facebook every day because I love it. I'm very at home with Facebook. And then the other one that I use is GoDaddy. So I use GoDaddy for my website hosting, and I love it. I can't speak highly enough of it. Everybody's different though. Some people are Wix people. Some people are, I don't know what else there is. GoDaddy. Oh, what's the other one? Ivory. Horses for courses. You've got to find the thing that's going to work for you. But the reason that I really like GoDaddy is because I find it very easy to use. Drag and drop templates, all of the things. I can go and change it. I've got full control, versus if I paid somebody to do it, I'm going to have to pay them to go and fix it, all of the things. So I love it for that reason. And GoDaddy costs me $544 a year, but I've got all bells and whistles. I pay quarterly $136. So there's that. I think that's about it for the client attraction and marketing. For money and finance, two things. First one, total game changer. If you're a sole trader, I really cannot speak highly enough or recommend Henry enough. And I'm going to tell you why. This is where I saved my nearly $11,000 or whatever it was. For most of you, you will save around $8,000, and I'm going to break it down for you now. It's shocking. It's shocking. So how does Henry work? Well, you get to ditch your bookkeeper and accountant lovingly and with gratitude, of course, and get all your stuff over to Henry. So Henry is a team of accountants and bookkeepers, and they do everything for you. And that includes, they're not a bank, but right, they're not a bank. So you have to kind of understand that. What happens is when you start to work with them, you will share with them your last tax return so that they can see what to set on their side for your tax limit. That's very important, because what happens is every time you get paid, anytime money goes into Henry are going to do a few things. They are going to make you your very own pay slip, which is very helpful if you're a sole trader, self-employed. And you never know, there might come a time, 12 months, 18 months, 2 years, 3 years, where you might be in a position where you need, for example, a loan, right? Maybe you want to go and expand and you don't want to rent, you want to go and buy a premises, or maybe you want business financing, right? Whatever it is. There are lots of reasons why it can be very helpful to have a pay slip when you're a sole trader. But anyway, they make your pay slip and they send it to you, sometimes, or it will just be in your little dashboard. And you click on your pay slip and you can see, might say something like, Joe Blow paid you $150 for his counselling appointment. We deducted your, Medicare levy 1.9%. We deducted your personal tax. We deducted your business tax, or we deducted your help debt or HEX, or anything like that. So it will do all of that for you, and they retain all those deductions, and they put the balance, what's left over, it's called the net, they put that into your personal bank account. And so the money that you get is yours to spend. You don't have to worry. So anyway, they do this all the time. And then if you're not earning 75K, you're only going to have to do a annual tax return, but they do it for you. And what happens is you're just sitting there at your computer one day in between clients, and boom, a little email lands in your inbox, and it's from Henry, and it says, hey, we've gone and done your tax return for you. Can you just check it and sign it if you're happy with it? There's nothing for you to pay. We've already set aside the money. Just give us the green light. We'll get that off to the ATO for you. It's done. You don't have to do anything. It's so good. And then the other reason that I really like it is because you can put money aside for things. They call it allocating the money, or allocations, but you can, like, I allocate 12%, 15% I'm doing of every pay into my superannuation. I allocate, 5% of every time I get paid into my getaway fund, right? It's my Dalesford getaway fund. I'm off again this time next week. And that covers, like, who's DOGGY sitting. It covers like little bits and pieces, and it's nice to know that that's there. It covers the accommodation, like all those kinds of things. So you can have all these allocations. That's perfectly fine. If you are paying GST, even better for you, because they prepare and lodge all of the BASs. Same thing. You're just going to be there minding your own business one day. Boom, get a little email in your inbox going, hey, heads up, we've done it all for you. Here's what the amount came to. If you're happy with it, let us know, and we'll get that money off to the ATO for you today. It's so easy. It could not be easier. I think the hard part is just like kind of getting started, because I'm just trying to think back, because as I said, it was a couple of years ago that I did it. What did I have to do? I had to share my tax return. I think that was about it. But if you've got like a debt, for example, with the ATO that you're paying off, that's totally fine too. Like, just let them know when they build that in. So it becomes a business bank account where if you're using Xander or Clinico, Halaxy, like whatever, for example, or Stripe or PayPal, you just get all that money once a week, like up to you how you want to do it. I'm not telling you how to do it, but I'm just thinking, like, what I do is I just make all of my platforms deposit the money into Henry on a Monday, And then if I've got other stuff like in Practice Momentum, they all have a recurring invoice that I can set those up in Henry and they just go out automatically. But for like other things where the money's coming into Stripe or PayPal and things like that, I just trigger those to pay into Henry every Monday. And so, yeah, it's just so easy. You can like get rid of that other business bank account and maybe use it for something else, like your holiday fund or something like that. It just makes life so much easier. And let me break it down for you in terms of what I saved. I was paying at the time $77 a week for bookkeeping. So, plus or minus. And on average, most people in solo private practice would pay between $600 and $700 a month for their bookkeeping. I've gone with the lower end because I know there are always going to be people say, I only pay, this much. That's fine. I've gone with the lower end. But if you pay more than this, then you're going to save more than this, right? So even more awesome for you. But let's just say maybe you're paying $350 a month. Right? Not even $100 a week. Let's say you're paying $350 a month. That's $4,200 a year. Just on someone to do your books. Now that bookkeeper, if they're not an accountant, can't lodge your stuff, which means if you're like I was, I then needed to have an accountant. That accountant had to review what the bookkeeper had done, make corrections. There were always corrections. They have to organise the GST, BAS, lodgements and everything. So that happens every quarter. Now, that can be, again, I've lowballed this, about $400. Now, depending on like where you live in your suburb and how cool your accountant is and all that, that's going to be different for you. But I've taken like a lower figure here. So $400. And you're going to have to do that 4 times a year. 400 by 4 is $1,600. Now, if we've got that $1,600 added onto the bookkeeping of $4,200, see how quickly this adds up? That's $5,800 we're at. On top of that, you're going to have to do your tax return, right? And you've got a business tax return and a personal tax return. You've got business income and personal income, all the things in the tax. Again, lowballing it, you're looking at about $1,000 as a sole trader. On top of that, maybe you might also be paying for your bookkeeper to use Xero, which is $75 a month usually. Now, they do have sales on from time to time, so sometimes you can get it a lot cheaper, but if it's not on sale, you're looking at $75 a month. $75 a month multiplied by 12 months is about $900, right? So $900 on Xero or your QuickBooks or whatever you're using, your MyOb, $900 plus about $1,000 for the tax returns. We're at $1,900 plus $1,600 for your quarterly BASs plus, $400 for your, or $350 for your bookkeeping. It's over $8,000, guys. It adds up and you don't even see it. How much is Henry? Henry, the fee is 1% of everything you get paid as it gets paid. And it shows on your payslip. So if you get paid $100, then it will say Henry fee $1, right? That's been taken out. They don't do that forever. It's capped at $1,500. Now, when I first joined, it was only $1,200 and I've been grandfathered. So yeah, I'm lucky and I'm very thankful. But it's at $1,500 now. So yeah, I mean, you'd have to be earning a lot of money to even pay that $1,500 because it's only 1%. So if we added on another 2 zeros, yeah, that's 150 grand. And then you would be paying the $1,500. But as soon as you made 151,000, it's all free. You could be making 200,000. Well, it's not free. It's never more than that 1,500, I should say, right? You might make $500,000, but you're still only ever going to pay them 1,500. Massive, massive. And the other thing that I love is I use Raise. I don't know if you're familiar with Raise. There are lots of alternatives and options. Raise is just the one that I prefer. Raise is micro investing, and the way that it works is I just connect it to my card. So with Henry, you have a digital FPOS card. You can put it in your Apple Wallet. You can use it for, like, if you're paying subscriptions for your Canva or your ManyChat or your Flowdesk or things like that. You just use your Henry card. It all comes off. It's so easy. But with Raise, what they do is they will round up to the nearest dollar and invest whatever the roundup was for you. And you can choose what you want them to invest it in. They're called little portfolios. You can have ones that are very low risk, don't make so much money. You can have ones that are medium risk, make a little bit more money. And then you can have ones that are higher risk and they make a lot more money. But, I think, I've never had like thousands of dollars in my Raise account, but when I have this coupled with my allocations, it's like I get free holidays. I know it's not exactly true because I'm paying for them, but in the sense of I'm not having to find the money. The money is just like doing stuff in the background without me even really tuning into it. So what it looks like is if I went and bought a coffee and the coffee was $4.50, Raise will say, okay, she's just spent $4.50 on a coffee. Let's call it $5, and we'll put that 50 cents into her little portfolio over here for her. Now think how many transactions you make on your card every day. That adds up. It adds up. So yeah. And as I said, I withdraw that money. It takes about 7 or 8 days. So you can withdraw it, but it doesn't show up in your bank account straight away because they've got to pull it out of shares and portfolios and stuff. There's a whole thing that they've got to do. So you can't get the money in a hurry is what I'm saying. Like if you didn't get paid on Friday and you needed bread and milk, Raise isn't going to help you because you probably won't get that money for another week. It takes time. So just be aware of that because I didn't know that, but just be aware of that. But I've usually got probably 800 or 900 in there every time I'm going away. And again, it just covers all the babysitting, the petrol, stuff like that, the meals while I'm gone, the next book or crystal or tarot deck, it's there. So really handy. It costs $2.50 and a month, or it's about $30 a year. Now, for those of you who are doing courses or programs, memberships, subscriptions, workshops, selling digital products, like all the things online, I use and love and recommend Thrivecart. And the reason why is because it's a one-time payment and you get most of that, depending on, of course, with anything there's tiers, but I just started on the low tier, and when I started it was $999 or $997, but it's now $812, but you pay it once. If you're with something comparable, I'm not going to say Kajabi because that integrates email, it's got email platform and stuff so no, not that, but something similar, this actually comes out on top because it's a one-time payment. So yeah, it's going to hurt initially. It's really going to hurt, but you make your money back very quickly. And when I purchased it, they actually had a guarantee that said you would make your money back in 30 days. And I did. I tripled it in 30 days. So yeah, I swear by it. The other reason that I really like it is because they've got a high touch Facebook community where you can go and complain about stuff. That's just what I call it. There's always people complaining, right? It's there's either low or no engagement, or the group is run and riot with people like complaining about stuff. But anyway, like what I'm saying is like, I don't know, that they will roll out new stuff. So for probably the last 6 months now, they've been making massive upgrades to the templates and, you know, this, that, and the other. And yeah, if you need help, you can just go into the Facebook group and you can ask for the help, and a Thrivecart person will give you the help. It's really nice. And it's a lovely community too, because they're very, very supportive. Like I've been in there when I've struggled with stuff and, or I've not known how to use a new feature and things like that, because they're always coming out and sometimes I don't see it. And then I'm like, oh, what's this thing? So yeah, I think it's really great, but it includes sales pages. So a sales page is a page like a website, and it sells a product or your workshop, your webinar, your retreat that you're doing, your course. Did I say course? You get the idea. And it's going to have all the sales pagey sections in it, right? And it's going to have a section there where people can pay. So it's really good for that. They've got templates, but you could go and buy templates, or you can also make up your own stuff from scratch. The people who are in Practice Momentum, they get automatic access to all my templates in Thrivecart, so they don't have to start from scratch. And they're going to be using stuff that works and converts, right? Very important, because you can have a pretty looking thing, but it'll never make a sale. You've got to know what to say and how to set it up. But anyway, and all your friends and your husband will say how wonderful it is, and all the people on Facebook will look at it for you and tell you it's lovely. But if it ain't working, it ain't working, and there'll be a reason why. And it's not usually to do with the aesthetics. So you get that. It's got checkout pages. So a checkout page is really short, really simple. It might just have one little square matchbox size image, and usually it's one page. It's divided in two. Down one side it will usually have like the details of the cost, the GST, and the other side will just have maybe a little heading and perhaps 2 or 3 little paragraphs about what the person gets, like what it is, what it's for, how you use it, problem it solves, blah, 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 right? That. Really great. It also has, you can keep all your digital products on it and sell your digital products, and it means that when people buy them, they get access to a Thrivecart dashboard that you've built out, right? And all that really means is that every time you make something, it is shown in the buyer's little portal when they log in. So they can always see what you've got available. And anything that they don't have access to, whether it be free or whether it be paid, is going to be in monochrome. But anything that they've got that's paid is going to be in color. And so they can just go and click on all the color things, and boom, it's going to open up, and they can watch the videos, download the workbook, complete the assessment. So I used this for when I had the DCS. People could get some CPD by going and watching a training, getting the tangible deliverable of the resource, and then going and passing an assessment, right? They could do all of that inside. It was great. It can handle payments and payment processing. So, for example, one of the things that has been so helpful is little features that sound small, but really are so helpful in terms of availability and accessibility of your products to clients who might not be able to afford them. So, for instance, with many of my products, I offer split pay. I can do that here. You can't do that on a lot of other platforms. So even for my essential forms in private practice, right? I forget what the current price is because I just put it up. I think it's $197 now. They used to be $47, then it was $75, then it was $97, and I think now they're just $197. But people might be going, I don't have $197, Brooklyn, but because now I've got access through Thrivecart to offer split pay, I can say, sure, no problem, choose split pay, and They will just go and they will choose if they want to do it in 2 lots of $100, or maybe they might want to do it in 6 lots of, or 6 isn't going to go into 200, is it? They might do 5 lots of $40. You see what I'm saying? So it means that people can buy my stuff now who might not have been able to before. And I really love that, because I want everybody to be able to get the stuff that they need within their budget where possible. And it's not only low ticket products like that. And I know what some of you might be thinking, oh, 197 isn't low. I know, but in terms of business and marketing, you have what's called low, mid, and high. So low ticket is usually anything that's under a few $100, $500, under $1,000, some people would say. Mid is up to about $5,000 to $10,000, and then high is usually over. There's variations depending on who you listen to about those actual numbers, but that's what I'm talking about. But you can use it for your high ticket stuff as well. So if you are going to be doing a weekend couples retreat and it's going to cost somebody, $10,000, because you're running it in the Hunter Valley and there's going to be accommodation and massages in the evening and, chocolate coated strawberries for them at night, as they do their journaling on the work that they've done with you during the day, whatever. They might go, oh, I don't have $10,000, but now they can do like split pay, and they might be able to pay that in $2,000 increments instead of having to find $10,000. It also has other payment options for your clients as well. Like they could do Afterpay, Zip Pay, Klarna. They can do all of that through it as well. And the benefit of that for your business is it means that you get that lump sum, right? That lump sum automatically comes into your Stripe or PayPal account, but it works for your clients as well, because they get to have the thing within it, being within their budget. Again, it's just another way. So yeah, like I really like it for that. I also have like all the stuff for, as I said before, memberships and, what else? Subscriptions. So yeah, the Booked and Better subscription is closing down this year because I'm breathing life into something else behind the scenes, as you probably have anticipated, because I've been alluding to that for a little while now. But anyway, Booked and Better is a subscription that's been getting delivered on autopilot through Thrivecart. I don't really have to do much with that. I also use it to sell one-off digital things. I can use it to move my free things. I can use it to build my audience. I can use it to deliver my courses. So even for Practice Momentum, for example, we've got a library. Well, we've got 2 libraries now. I was going to get rid of the first one, but then I thought, oh no, because the OGs, they're familiar with that one. They might really still like to use that one. So they've still got access to them, but the new people just have access to the new one. But that's all fully automated, and they can just go in there anytime, 24/7 with their login and their password. They can just go and get all the stuff. So it's everything in one spot. I love it for that. It does cost $812. Have I made $812 back as a result of having it? Oh, yes, I have. No complaints here. I love it. Okay, next category is like everyday work. I use Google Workspace. It saved me bucket loads. Before that, I had, hang on, I think I do have the maths for this one as well. Do I? I do. Yeah, so I use Google Workspace. I use the business standard. It cost me $20. It's HIPAA compliant. If you're in America, it doesn't apply to us out here, but Americans like to know if it's HIPAA compliant. For us, it's APP, Australian Privacy Principles. It's APP compliant. You have to fill out a little form to request the compliance. You need to know that bit, but it's $20. What do you get for your $20 a month or your $240 a year? You get online video conferencing with transcriptions. You get your Drive. You get Google Docs, Sheets, Google Forms, slides and presentations. I'm not sure what they call it because I don't use it. Like all of those kinds of things. What does it replace? It replaces Zoom. It replaces your Microsoft Office suite. So Zoom, $240 a year. Your Microsoft Office suite, if it's on special and you're just using the lowest tier, the lowest offering that they've got, you're looking at $156. So together, that's about $400 versus Google Workspace, $240. See how these things, and if you've got Zoom over here and you've got, I don't know, a calendar, because with Google, you've got the calendar as well. You might not have a calendar over here, right? So you probably got something like Squarespace or Acuity. So you're paying for that. You're paying for Zoom. You're paying for your Microsoft Office suite. And on top of that, you've got links going everywhere. And you're in and out of different software, doing different things. And you're going to have to be in more software for your notes, for example. See? Messy, complicated, makes you stressed. Clients are like, I didn't get my link. I didn't get the link to the meeting, blah, blah, blah. Frustrating. Make your life simple. Put everything in the one spot. Google Workspace. But yeah, get the business one because otherwise it's not going to be compliant. Also, if you do have the business one and you've got a website, take the time to go and log into your workspace and go into the email section and get, swap out, at gmail.com for at yourpractice.com. It just looks more professional. Think about it. I mean, if I'm going to, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm a little bit judgy, I don't know, but I always think it's dodgy. Like if my lawyer was at gmail.com versus I had a lawyer who was, at ABC barristers and solicitors.com, I know which one I'm going to feel better about, connecting with. I think it's the same for us in working in this space. Trust is the currency, one of the currencies. There's also rapport and connection, but trust is a big one. Okay, just some other things for also for everyday stuff, AI. I know some of you use it a lot. Some of you are anti-AI and don't use it at all. But I pay, and I'll tell you why. I use it very seriously in my business. And when you pay, and I'll tell you how much it is. I think it's like, I've got it written down somewhere, I think. No, yes, I do. It's $20 a month for ChatGPT, and it's $29 for Claude. So I find ChatGPT to be great for some things, horrible for others, and Claude, the same. Awesome for some things, not so great for others. The value for me of paying that money is the functionality that I get as a result of it. So, for example, on a free account, it slows down really quickly when you're going back and forth. So if you're just like giving yourself a morning to create something and you're going to be in AI working together and you've got messages going back and forward, it's going to, on a free account, it's going to either cut you off. So Claude cuts you off. Claude is just like, it doesn't really give you any warning either. It's just like, you're out, come back tonight at 7 p.m. and it might only be 11 in the morning. So like, you're out. Chat does it differently. Chat just will kind of like slow you down, and then will start to hallucinate. It's called hallucinating because it will just start to go off on like, it'll go in weird places and you're finding yourself having to course correct it, bring it back. You're getting frustrated. It's not paying attention. It's not doing what you want. It's because it's tired. It's lagging. That's not actually what's happening. That's just me explaining it. But it's happening because you're out of tokens, basically. So a token is, if you're not sure what a token is the currency that AI operates on, and it's worth about 4 characters of text. So if you're going to use the free ChatGPT, ChatGPT works on tokens and the number of messages being exchanged. So if you're writing really long, waffly, rambly stuff to him and you send it off, you've just gone through a bucket load of your tokens. If it could be said in less, say it in less and save your tokens. Also, it's like a bit of a conundrum. The way to get the best data, or one thing that you can do, I should say, to get better output from ChatGPT is to just have one thing per whatever you put in your little bit of the chat, right? So if it gives you something and you're like, oh God, it's got 7 errors in it, let it know. It's going to work better for you if you just focus on fixing one at a time. If you go in and you say, oh yes, thank you, ChatGPT, this was great, but the spelling was wrong. You used American instead of Australian. And, Brooklyn's going to kill me if she sees this because you've used the pattern of it's not this, it's that, or you've used all these M dashes. And I just want to avoid the wrath of Brooklyn over here. Or you're going to be saying, I don't really like how this was phrased because you didn't really understand what I was talking. If you put all that in one thing, it's going to take a long time to get the feedback you really want because he's got a chunk now and he's not sure what to start with first, what's priority, So he's just going to do like a little bit. He's going to answer a little bit of each one of your issues. And then you're going to be back forward, and you chew through the number of messages very quickly. Does it happen on paid? It can, but you'd have to be using it a lot. And I don't think any of you are probably at the point where you're using it excessively. So it wouldn't affect you. I have been affected in Claude sometimes because I am using it a lot because I'm studying AI at the moment. And so I've got to use it for my assignments, for the work that I'm doing there, all of this kind of stuff. So I'm in it a lot. That's how I know some of this, right? And that's why I'm sharing it with you. But so I do, and I've had to go up levels of pay. Now, in terms of which one's better, Chat or Claude? I think most people default to ChatGPT because it's very popular, but also because it's got a lot of functionality, especially because, even recent things that, came out, like there was an update that happened last week for the imaging, and it continues to be refined day by day. So it's good for that. It also includes Sora, which is, again, like imaging, and it's got new models of Sora, all those kinds of things. So I think people will gravitate towards ChatGPT. Like I made, GPTs in there, right? I made ones for tapping. I made ones for supervisors. I made this, that, and the other. So you can do all of that. You can't do those things in Claude. Claude's different. What I really like about Claude is it's very personalized. It feels warmer. It feels more conversational. It feels very helpful, supportive, all those kinds of things. But I've just found for written things, processing, all of this, I've just found it so much easier to work with because it gives me much better quality stuff. So for example, as you know from last week's episode, I pulled together Practice Momentum as an actual framework, and now it's like I was going to say validated, but the statistician in me says, no, you can't say that because it hasn't been tested. So I'm going to say verified, validated is the word. It's been validated in terms of research and this and that. But the whole framework came together with the support and help and assistance of Claude. I then, just for comparison's sake, went through the same process that I used with Claude through ChatGPT, and it was like so bad. Bad in that It gave me irrelevant things. It was injecting stuff that I didn't ask for, that often, again, wasn't relevant. It was misquoting stuff. One of the things that you must do when you're using AI is check that what you're getting is accurate. And so a very easy way to do that is just to say, is this accurate? Have you given me the full picture here? Have you given me the full story here? What aren't you telling me about this ebook that you've just written for me on grief and loss, right? If you just take the stuff and use it, yeah, problem. But when you're working with it to leverage your business, which not many people do, but if you're working with it to leverage your business, then you will want to verify things. And one of those things for me is verifying my sources. So when I was in Claude and I was verifying sources to back up my framework, my business coaching framework that I, formalized, I then, when I was having a go, seeing what's it going to be like, what's the output like if I do it in chat gave me sources. But then when I went and, checked them, I was getting he looks like a cartoon of a kid fishing, and it said no such thing exists. Making up references. Not all of them were made up, probably about 30%. But do you know what? If only one of them is made up and somebody finds it, discovers it, what happens to your credibility then? It's like out the window. So I'm trying to say as well, like it's the same thing when you're using the M dashes and you're using all the language patterns and you're using the words like, this one drives me bonkers. He'll use words like whisper, quietly, gentle. The latest one is steady and steadiness. If I see those words on a website straight away, I know it's ChatGPT because no one talks like that. No one talks like that. Yet it's suddenly appearing on therapy websites. Anywho, that's what I mean. Like when you put chat on your website, it's taking away from you. Like how can anybody feel related or a connection to you or feel like you understand them? They don't. It's perfectly okay for you to use ChatGPT in other ways, maybe to tidy things up, check for grammar and spelling. I mean, you could do that in Word or Google anyway, right? I mean, use it for brainstorming your topics or stuff like that, but don't use it to actually write the content. And then, I don't know, sometimes people will say to me like, I'll go, this is heavily AI. It's a problem. And sometimes people say, no, it's not. I don't want to argue. I'm not here for that. You either want my feedback or you don't. You're ready for it or you're not. That's fine. Or other people will say, well, only a little bit. I got it out of ChatGPT, but then I went and put it in my own words. But I can tell it's still very AI. So I don't know what parts they're putting in their own words. And I get so upset about it because they're missing out on getting money at the end of the day. I mean, they'll say I want more clients because I really want to be helping all these people now that I'm qualified. And I get that. And I know that they do. But at the same time, I think what's also beneath the wanting clients and wanting the fully booked diaries, of course, to sort yourself out financially. You're running a business. It's okay for you to talk about money. It's okay. But you're shooting yourself in the foot by using chat perhaps the way you are. And that's why I get so upset about it, because it's such a simple fix. You just need to get okay with like writing as you would normally speak. A couple of other things that I had were for ADHD and productivity that I can share with you. One of those is Google Keep. Now, this is totally free. Not many people know it exists, but it does. It's a thing. And what it does is I use it for brain dumping. You can make lists You can put those lists into your Google Docs or your calendar. You can pin them, unpin them, include images, videos, links, tick boxes, like all the things. I'm obsessed. You can also import the lists into your Google Calendar so that then you've got tasks, so you know what you're doing. I love it because it's really been so helpful for managing my impulse, because I often have problems with impulse control. Like, you hear it here on the podcast, right? I don't edit what I say, and sometimes things come into my head and I just say it. Probably I should keep some things not being said out loud, but that's never going to happen because this is just who I am. But it works when I can be more mindful of it. And so if I'm saying to myself, you're really going to try very hard just to sit down and watch this movie for half an hour with Buddy, and you're not going to get up and use the computer. You're not going to go, on your socials. You're just going to sit here nicely and have a snack and have your drink of water. You're just going to watch half an hour of a movie just nicely. Well, if I do get the impulse and I really, really, really am trying to control it, I can now just open up the Google Keep app on my phone and I can just voice note into it and it will make the list, or I can just add an item onto an existing list. It's been really, really helpful. I really love my Google Calendar too for my productivity because I can color code stuff. Really easy. I use it for all the bookings. So, for example, in Momentum, the ladies in there can use the link to my calendar and go and book themselves out time with me whenever they want for their pop-up calls. They can go and pre-book their quarterly planning sessions with me. They can do all of the things. But I can also use that calendar to let them know about other things I'm offering that they're all welcome to attend, like the business masterminds we have for private practice every month, things like that. So, yeah, that's the tech stack. And I will put the list in the show notes after YouTube's done its thing and I can get my transcript. If you don't want to wait that long, just head over to my Facebook page. It's just Brooklyn Storme or the Private Practice Specialist. It'll come up for you and you will see it there. Or if you're in the community, you can go in there and get it. It's just a Google Doc, but it's got clickable links in there. Some of those clickable links are affiliate links as well, and I've disclosed what that means for both of us. Some of them I get something, and all of them you get something. So yeah, they don't all have affiliate links, by the way. I'm just letting you know because I'm being transparent. So yeah, I hope that this was helpful. What I would say your next step is to take stock, take a inventory, do a brain dump. If you're in front of the computer now, go and have a look at all the tabs that are open. That'll give you a good indicator of what you're using. The other thing that will give you a good indicator of what you're using is if you go into Henry, if you're already with Henry, and just have a look at your expenses, and you will see things in there that maybe you've forgotten about that you subscribe to, or things, apps that you've downloaded and stuff. So go and get all of that, add it all up, see what it is, and then maybe even if you wanted to, you could just categorize it and say, well, this is how much I was spending on, for example, your everyday stuff, and this is how much you were spending on your money stuff. And then have a look at the the tech stack list again from that perspective and ask yourself, is it worthwhile having a look at some of this stuff and what would it mean? And two, stuff takes effort, guys. Stuff takes effort, but what's the easiest way of saying this? Isn't it better to expend a little bit of effort now while you're on break to get stuff shifted over or moved across or whatever you need transferred, whatever you need to do? Isn't it better to do it now, knowing that it's stopping thousands of dollars potentially going out of your business? Those thousands of dollars could pay for Momentum, or your next CPD or training or a course or like a VA, like stuff. You've got better uses for that money, and it's going to simplify your life. You'll have less bills coming in, money going out. You'll have less software to worry about. So everything's going to be simplified. That's why I really like Google Workspace, because it's got everything. It's got my calendar, my email, my drive, my forms, my docs, my sheets. Like it's everything's just there in the one app. So easy. Anyway, I hope that this was really, 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 really helpful. If you have any questions about private practice, of course, just send me an email or send me a little message. More than happy to answer them on an upcoming episode for you. And yeah, I just want to say also thank you to the people that applied for Practice Momentum. Welcoming new people in now and for the start of the year. It's all very exciting. And do you know what? If you weren't successful in your application this time, you know now what to be focusing on, so that next time a place becomes available, you're most welcome to try again, reapply, see how you go, right? You've got your steps. And I'm so excited to meet you again and hear about all of your progress. And you can do it. You can do it. And yeah, just thanks everybody. Have a really lovely day. Talk to you later. Bye. And that's a wrap for this episode of the Private Practice Podcast. So as you reflect on today's insights, imagine creating real success in your private practice without going down rabbit holes or exhausting yourself with business activities that don't move the needle. With Practice Momentum, you have push of a button help available on demand. It's like having an expert in your pocket ready to guide you whenever you need it. Visit brooklynstorme.com to discover how Practice Momentum can transform your approach to building a thriving practice. I'm Dr. Brooklyn Storme, and I'll see you next time as we continue exploring the mind, business, and spirit of private practice success.